And breaking tonight, we are seeing protest marches spreading across the country over two incidents involving the deaths of black men at the hands of white police officers. And that, at this hour, is about all we can tell you about how race has been factored in to this situation. A grand jury decided not to indict a New York City police officer yesterday in the connection with the death of a black man, Eric Garner, a week after a grand jury in St. Louis, Missouri, in Ferguson, Missouri, decided not to indict a white man, police officer, in connection with the death of a black man there. Commentators and some politicians are making the near universal suggestion that the grand jury here got it wrong.
All Americans, every one of us, should pity Mr. Gardner and his family. He did not deserve what happened to him. And I think Officer Pantaleo and every other American police officer, every one, would agree with me.
It is such a ridiculous scenario. I'm okay with it because it's not going to stand. The whole world is watching.
How this cop did not go to jail, it was not held responsible, is beyond me.
I honestly don't know what to say. If comedy is tragedy plus time, I need more time. But I would really settle for less tragedy.
Today, the New York Daily News running this front page showing Eric Garner moments before he was wrestled to the ground with the headline, "We can't breathe," invoking Garner's last words. So if so many people think the grand jury failed in Staten Island, how did they arrive at their decision? Vincent Warren is the executive director of the Center for Constitutional Rights and a former attorney for the ACLU, and in moments we'll also be joined by former police commissioner Bernard Carrick here in New York City. Good to see you tonight, sir. And so the question tonight is whether there is any reason to believe that perhaps this grand jury could have reached its decision based on something other than race.
It is very hard to see how the grand jury would not indict on the evidence that everybody has seen. I mean, all of the commentators are saying that. But I think the race piece is important, and I wanted to see if I can get into that with you, particularly because... Let's
do that, but let me just ask you quick before we go to that.
Sure.
Why do we go there? Why don't we just say, under your argument, that the police overreacted, to put it charitably, why isn't it a case about excessive law enforcement, about excessive force, as opposed to a race thing?
Oh, because it's a case about both. There are two pieces of this. There is the excessive law enforcement and the prosecution, and then there is the reason why this grand jury and why this prosecutor presented evidence in such a way that was likely to not get an indictment.
This one here in Staten Island?
Yes, this one here in Staten Island. So on the first piece, it is as clear as day, as clear as blue as the sky, that there should have been some charges, some serious charges brought based solely on what we've seen in terms of the evidence. It's a shocking decision from a legal perspective. But the other piece of it is important as well, which is that I understand that Donovan, the prosecutor, submitted the evidence in very much the same way that happened in Ferguson, which is rather than doing his job and securing an indictment, which is what prosecutors are paid to do, he put the evidence out there, built in opportunities to build in defenses to the case.
Even if that's true, why isn't that? Okay, but if let's assume that's the case, and he did that, in your argument, inappropriately, why couldn't that be a prosecutor trying to give a cop the benefit of the doubt? Why does it have to be about race?
Well, this is my point. It is about the prosecutor giving the cop the benefit of the doubt. It is
why wouldn't he have done that for a black cop if it had been a white man who died?
And he would have done that as well. But it is also...
So where's the race issue?
I'm trying to talk to you, Megan. I'm trying to talk to you. The race issue comes in when you look at the number of black people, the sheer volume of black people that we've seen recently who are unarmed, who are killed by the police, and then there is no culpability found on the part of the police department.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let me just say something, and then I'll give you the floor. Nearly 250,000 misdemeanor arrests in New York City in 2013. 0 turned out like Garner's. Three quarters of the cop shootings in this country are of white people. Only 1/4 are of black people. 91% of blacks who are murdered are killed by other blacks. Only 7% are killed by whites. I could go on. I could cite to you a list of cases in which a black cop killed a white man, and no indictment followed, and where a white cop killed a black man and the cop was indicted.
I'm running out of time, Megan. Are you ready?
Go for it.
Okay. That when it comes to racism, and this has been true historically, millions of black people in the United States are not upset, outraged, and white people as well, and protesting because of a mere feeling. People know that this is a racial problem that we have where there's no accountability for killing
They just
black
know
policeable. But hold on. But this is how you prove it, right? When you look at the stop and frisk case, when we filed the stop and frisk case in New York City, we said that the police stopped black people more than white people for no legal reason. And everybody said that's ridiculous. They stopped black people because they commit more crimes. But when the data came in, we actually found that that wasn't true. Black people are stopped more than white people in high crime neighborhoods,
I
no
understand.
crime neighborhoods, and low neighborhoods.
But
And
that
so,
doesn't mean that white cops are killing black men with
Well,
impunity.
but
And
what
Rudy
it-
Giuliani,
but
for the
what it
record,
means-
says that
but what
stop
it
and
means-
frisk saved thousands of black lives.
Of course, Rudy Giuliani said this. Of course he did. That shouldn't surprise you, but it doesn't
Did you not
mean
see the
that it's
murder
not
rate in the
racist.
black communities go down during Mayor Giuliani's tenure?
Megyn, I know this is the Megyn Kelly show. I really do. But I'm trying to. You want
Come on.
some evidence? I'm
You're
gonna prove it to
getting. You are getting
I'm
your
proving
say,
it to you.
sir.
Okay, so let me keep talking. So what we do know is when we look at the data and the statistics, very often the narrative about criminality is actually not the case, and it actually has to do with targeting black people. And I think what we're going to find as the data comes in around indictments, when the data comes in, which is largely in the hands of the prosecutor, about how
I'm
these
waiting
cases,
to hear your data.
How these
all I
cases,
hear from you is the
Well,
narrative.
here's
And
the
I got to
problem, is
go,
that we
Vincent,
don't
because
have
I'm
the
out of
data.
time. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for talking to me.
Up next, former police commissioner Bernard Carrick responds.
Free! Okay.